Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for the 21st Annual Greater Muskogee Area Chamber of Commerce State of the City Address. I am Michelle Keeling, Vice President for St. Francis Health System and Administrator for St. Francis Hospital, Muskogee. As your presenting sponsor today, we are grateful so many of you have made time to join us for this important event. It certainly looks and feels a little different this year, being virtual instead of being together in person. Your participation is a true testament to how interested this community is in the progress in our great city, and also how supportive we all are of the great work of our Muskogee Chamber of Commerce. At this time, it is my privilege to introduce Mayor Marlon Coleman, Mayor of our great city of Muskogee.
My name is Marlon Coleman, and I am excited to have been elected the 50th mayor of the city of Muskogee. My election is a testament to the people of Muskogee being rich with a spirit of unity and diversity. As your mayor, I am committed to building bridges that unite us, and together we will tear down the walls that divide us. I have hope that Muskogee's best days are ahead of us because Muskogee is too big for small dreams. I have been mayor just over 100 days now, and our achievements as a community are growing by the day. We are already seeing streets improvement projects happening all across the city. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation is currently completing a resurfacing project on 69 Highway between Border and Peak Boulevard, valued at over $1 million. And thanks to the voters, we passed a streets improvement plan that will repair over $36 million of neighborhood roads. North 24th Street between Okmulgee and Broadway is partially open to grant residents access to much-needed commerce, with the entire project between Broadway and Shawnee scheduled for completion in the summer of 2021. With the cooperation of many of our partners, the state legislature, and Oklahoma's congressional delegation, we successfully defeated plans to build the jobs-killing bypass around Muskogee and are now in discussions to widen 69 Highway, which will be a multi-million-dollar improvement to our city. It's not just enough to repair our streets. We have to be certain that our streets are repaired correctly for the long haul. We now have a policy and procedures in place to be certain that all new streets are inspected by certified and trained staff so that as we install new streets, they are done with a high level of quality and last a lot longer. Highway 69 is the main corridor through Muskogee that connects Texas to Missouri, and the city is already taking action to clean up abandoned and dilapidated properties along 69 Highway so that we can attract new businesses that offer critical needs and services to our community. Sports is something near and dear to the hearts of many adults as well as parents who have children. And with our newly renovated Hatbox Sports Complex, we now have the capacity to host major sporting and recreational events. Just recently, it hosted the annual Jeep Jam Festival, which has grown exponentially and doubled in attendance and participants. We now host an annual drag racing competition that has featured celebrity reality television stars from across the country. The new structural addition to the complex allows us to also host major agricultural events and shows with sporting fields to accommodate football, soccer, baseball, and other outdoor events. With all of the great things that we have planned for Muskogee, COVID-19 has plagued the world and most of the United States. And in Muskogee, we took proactive measures to be certain that we can keep our businesses open and our residents safe. We initiated a program, which is the only one in the state of Oklahoma, to give all of our residents 5 cloth masks. How we lead during this pandemic is our defining moment. And we have developed an educational campaign that is very aggressive to encourage our residents to wear their masks, to remind them that their masks protects their neighbor. We help to lead an effort through our COVID-19 Joint City-County Task Force to have conversations with the Oklahoma Department of Corrections to be certain that all of their employees are tested upon entry to every Oklahoma Department of Corrections facility. That program is now happening across the state, and it protects the workers, the inmates, as well as helps to prevent community spread from happening in our city. When we went into the office, we had a goal of making Muskogee a place where we can live, work, and play. Today, reputable builders are constructing 20 new homes per year in our city. We're also working with other local builders to plat an area that will contain 70 new homes. Retail development along Shawnee Bypass continues to be a priority for our residents, and we have a contract with a retail consulting firm to expand our efforts to include market rate apartments and new retail. Shawnee Bypass at the intersection of Highway 69 continues to be a viable market for our city, and it's already producing big returns millions of times over. With the opening of the new Starbucks and a Quick Trip full-service station that is the third highest producing one in all of Oklahoma, that corridor is on its way to being a success for our residents as well as travelers who enjoy 69 Highway. Muskogee has natural resources of airway, highway, waterway, and railway. We have a regional airport that can land a space shuttle. We're investing monies in our airport to be certain that it is a viable industrial hub that can produce jobs as well as attract investors to invest in this property. The Great Flood of 2019 threatened to permanently derail all of the progress that had been made by our Port of Muskogee. But thanks to their leadership team and in partnership with the City of Muskogee Foundation and our elected officials, the port is nearly operational. It is an entity that serves through rail, barge, other forms of commerce, and is a critical source of industrial development here in the city of Muskogee. Muskogee has cemented the theory that dog is a man's best friend with the renovation and construction of a new animal shelter with modern animal housing that will feature a new spay and neuter lab with nearly free services for the underprivileged to help control our animal population. It will also have a crematory to properly provide for the remains of our beloved pets. Our Muskogee Golf Course continues to rank in highest quality in Northeast Oklahoma. And this year, we hosted the annual APT Golf Tournament with the winners advancing to the PGA Golf Tournament. This year, the Law Lock Office sponsored the Junior Golf Clinic and hosted a record number of young people to introduce them to a game that builds character, discipline, and integrity, the game known as golf. Criminal justice reform is critical to us having a viable workforce with people who deserve a second chance and the opportunity to give back to their communities. In 2019, we sponsored a free felony expungement program for nonviolent offenders that helped over 300 residents get their lives back on track and give them the second chance that they deserve. With the success of that program, we are now developing a new program where at least 20 Muskogee residents every year on an annual basis can have nonviolent felonies expunged so that they can have jobs and be productive citizens with dignity and with respect. Muskogee is a small community, but we are a caring community. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many families suffered economic loss due to layoffs, reduced labor forces, and loss of income. The City of Muskogee Foundation, along with a host of churches and civic organizations, provided over 15,000 boxed meals to families and their children during this pandemic. Muskogee is also a veteran-friendly community with the Jack C. Montgomery Veterans Hospital and services veterans across Northeast Oklahoma. We are home to the VA Regional Office, which is one of the top performing offices in the Veterans Administration. Our commitment to their success has resulted in the VA Regional Office extending their lease in our city for another 20 years. The VA healthcare system is the largest employer in the city of Muskogee, and we are happy that they are now here for the long haul. Flooding in multiple areas across the city has continued to be a problem, and we adopted a policy and are now ready to solicit proposals for a full-scale drainage study that will identify problems in our drainage system and help us to chart the course to reduce and hopefully eliminate the threat of flooding in residential neighborhoods and our main passageways throughout the city. Education is the gateway out of poverty. Last year, you passed a historic school bond for the Muskogee Public School District that will renovate or reconstruct every school building and build a brand new state-of-the-art football stadium that is second to none in Northeast Oklahoma. Thanks to the efforts of the Hilldale Public School District, they also have a new Fab Lab that teaches grades 3 through 5 to learn the importance of engineering and ingenuity, and a new Fab Lab at their high school with the potential to have a full-service Fab Lab equipped to prepare young people to go from diploma to employment in record timing. We are blessed to have Muskogee Public Schools and the Hilldale Public School System that are two great school districts inside our city limits. The city recognizes that municipal government and education go hand in hand. So therefore, we signed a historic Memorandum of Understanding between our three organizations that allows us to share resources to focus on improving education opportunities and contributes to the growing economic development and recreation and entertainment needs in our city. We will also partner to examine housing so that when young people complete their education, they will want to live, to work, and to play in the city of Muskogee. Everything we've discussed today is date stamped with time, and nothing will happen overnight. It took over 100 years for Muskogee to have the challenges that we face today. But if we work together, if we love together, if we believe together, our best days are ahead of us, and our future starts now. We will get to a place where Muskogee is the place in Northeast Oklahoma where people want to live, work, and play for generations to come. It's my desire and hope and belief that we can work together as a community to grow our city to greater heights and see better days, because Muskogee is too big for small dreams. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the city of Muskogee.
You know, 2020 has been the most unprecedented time that I can ever remember, and it has really affected us here at Muskogee Public Schools. We'll talk about three different things that we're really doing that we have continued to do, and really the pandemic has really not had any impact on that. One is our bond construction. You're going to see a lot of things happening across the community, and I'm going to talk about that. Number two, we are using the pandemic as an opportunity for innovation, and I'm going to talk about innovation today. And then number three, student engagement. This is the most important time to really making sure our students are engaged. We had our opportunity to actually have what's called a topping out party. The topping out party happened at Tony Getz. It was actually November the 4th. During that time, what we did was we really recognized the teachers and staff that would be moving into that building. And then also, we had the opportunity to really tour the facility and really get an idea of what it's going to be. The next project on the bond issue is Alice Robertson. You might notice as you drive by that there's a lot of work that's being done right now. Both of these projects, don't forget, will open brand new next year. So they will be ready to go for the 21-22 school year. The last project, and it's really the fun project there at the stadium up there on the hill, they just placed the 4 field lights. The field lights really can be seen from both sides of the highway. In January, you'll see the bleachers start going up on both sides, and then also the field house will begin to come in out of the ground. So really happy to see that progress that's going to happen there at the high school. You know, today I was just reminded of a story by a friend that called and talked to me about the pandemic and kind of the issues that they were having, but reminded me of this story of Dwight D. Eisenhower. They asked him, what do you attribute the victory of World War II? And he said, Andrew Jackson Higgins. Andrew Jackson Higgins. Why? Well, this is the man that actually made the flat bottom boats. He had a company in the middle of the United States that were building boats for fishermen, but mostly, and they were in swampland so that they would not hit the bottom of the rivers in different places. When he brought the Allied leadership together, General Eisenhower basically said, we've got to find a way to get our troops from the ships to the shore. And he commandeered Higgins to actually build these boats. He went from 100 employees to 3,600 employees from 1943 to 1944 and actually made about 6,000 of these flat bottom boats. They were able to take all of the supplies and were able to bring all of the troops in, and this really made the difference. We all know this as the Normandy invasion that happened in 1944 and really made a difference in the war. I mention that story because I think it's important for everyone to know that there is a correlation to this pandemic and that story, because I think right now is a time for us to think outside of the box. Our world is changing. I mean, education will never ever be the same. I know that students, they're born with devices and different things and technology in their hands, so teaching in that manner and doing virtual education is very important. So we're going to have to encourage our team, and that's what we're doing at this point in time, is really thinking of new and different ways of engaging and teaching our kids. We're never going to go back to the same. I am actually asking our team to be a part of innovation. I'm encouraging our team to think new, think different. I want students that are engaged. I want students that understand the teaching and learning and understand where they're going and what they're doing and how to do the work. And so we're really encouraging our staff to think outside of the box and really start thinking of what can we do differently than we've ever done. Let me tell you the 4 or 5 things that we're doing specifically right now. One thing is we are surveying our parents, students, and staff. We want to know what's working and not working. We're designing and developing a program that's going to be for virtual learners. Next year, we will have a virtual academy or a virtual school. We're right now looking at our staffing. We know that we're not staffing appropriately. Our staff is doing a great job of trying to support our students on a daily basis, but we're probably not providing enough staff to make that work. That's one of the things we're looking at. The other is looking for a school site. We're looking at a school site that maybe would house some of those virtual learners, because we know that staying at home and not having any connectivity is not the right answer. We know that we have to have tutoring, and we got to have teachers on staff and ready to help those students in person if need be. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is really student engagement, and it's so important that we do this because with a pandemic, it looks so different this year. First thing I want to say is I am really proud of our teachers. Our teachers have done a fantastic job. We're doing what's called Google Meets, and each hour, students are getting on each hour with their teacher and basically getting lessons, and the lessons are being taught online, much more engaging than they've been.
You need me to help you with that?
No, I got it.
No, you're good? Okay, bye, sweetheart.
We've already discussed that a mineral is a naturally occurring inorganic solid. If I told you that every one of these is the exact same.
We're really proud of our teachers for stepping up and really making this all happen. The other thing that we've done is what's called a student advisory council. I wanted to really get students in, sophomore, juniors, and seniors, and really have conversation about student life and how we can improve all of the things that we're trying to do, and also that it's quality information. So the last thing is the superintendent's honors banquet was canceled last year. We've gone to every site and really recognized those top 1% students that basically have scored in the top 1% at their school sites, and we were able to recognize them specifically. So we're very proud of those students. Next year, hopefully we'll be able to have our honors banquet again and really honor them in a much bigger fashion. I want to end with this. I know that 2020 has been a tough year. I mean, I think we are really looking at the glass being half full at this point. We know that it's going to be a time to where we've learned a lot and that we can provide education differently. I don't think things will return to the same after this year. I think we're going to have to think differently, and change is all around us. So I'm excited about that change. I think it's a good thing for us. It's going to help us improve, help us be innovative, and help our students really be provided a product that's much better than ever before. Being a part of this community, Muskogee is so important, and as we grow as a community, education has got to grow as well. And I know that, and I'm committed to making sure that Muskogee Public Schools is producing the very best students and that we're providing the very best product that we can. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited about the opportunity to be able to bring to you some of the information from Muskogee Public Schools. And I hope everyone stay safe, and don't forget, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear a mask. Thank you, and it's always a great day to be a rougher.